Hello, I'm Mark Mullane, and welcome to The Art of Aging. In this episode, My Second Life, we will meet Bill Barron, a man whose journey reminds us that it's never too late to rediscover your passion and start something new. That's ahead, right here on The Art of Aging. Welcome to the Art of Aging podcast, proudly produced here at Montgomery Place, where we celebrate life, honor legacy, and build a community where residents thrive at every stage of aging. Located in Chicago's Hyde Park, Montgomery Place is more than just a place to live. It's a vibrant community overlooking Lake Michigan, where independence, learning, and connection are part of everyday life. Each episode, we share stories that capture what it means to age with purpose, grace, and curiosity. Today's episode, My Second Life, is brought to you by our friends at OMTS, Trinity Rehab, Whipley, and Unidyne, all valued partners here at Montgomery Place. In this episode, we feature Bill Barron, whose journey from a rewarding career in family life to discovering a new purpose here at Montgomery Place beautifully captures what we mean by the art of aging. Bill's story reminds us that fulfillment, creativity, and growth don't fade with time. They evolve. Let's hear his story.
The Art of Aging, My Second Life is presented by OMTS, Trinity Rehab, Whipley, and Unidyne, in partnership with Montgomery Place.
Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, Mark.
And thank you so much for joining us on this episode of The Art of Aging. I don't know if you recall or not the first day that I met you in the wood shop.
I remember.
And your story just so inspired me of your career and your history, and then to see your work in the wood shop. You truly exemplify our message of an art of aging. So appreciate you being on, and I just wanted to hear your story. So let's start at the beginning.
All right.
What is your earliest childhood memory?
Earliest childhood memory. Let me see. Probably walking up and down the hill to go to school. Yeah, really.
And that was where it was 5 miles both way in the snow and...
No, it wasn't quite that bad. No, but that's the earliest memory. I think was probably first grade in school.
Sure. So
I was a little slow in remembering things. So.
What was your childhood like? Where did you grow up at?
Well, I grew up in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, which is a medium-sized steel mill town about 40 miles east of Pittsburgh. And it was, it was just a, very, very, very ordinary bringing up, really.
And your career path?
Well, that turned out a little more complicated. I admired my brother-in-law particularly, and he was a metallurgist in the foundry business. And after a few years in the war, I went to school to get a degree in metallurgical engineering. And so the metallurgical business sounded pretty good to me from his experience. So that's why I got into it. And the foundry business is mostly kind of down and dirty, but I enjoyed it. I really did. As a matter of fact, I moved around to some extent, as you always do in your younger days. But I wound up with a specialty foundry in Wisconsin, which was very well known. It's pretty fancy stuff. We made, we poured stainless steel and copper alloys and aluminum and nickel-based alloys. We handled just about everything. And the really fascinating part of it was some of the castings we made for the nuclear program. It had to be super high quality. You know, the quality control was just out of this world.
Sure.
But that was a whole new experience. But anyway, it was fun because I wound up as national sales manager for the company. Had an opportunity to travel pretty well, and talking to our customers and seeing just how the castings are used, just exactly where they're put and what they do. So that was part of the whole picture too. But anyway, it was a lot of fun.
You mentioned the war. Thank you so much for your service. Could you tell us a little bit about your military background?
Well, this was 1943 when I turned 18. I decided I wanted to join the Air Force because I was interested in that. I always had to have a project. Not only this, but I was making model planes as a kid. So anyway, I got into that and decided I wanted to be a navigator. I enjoyed the celestial sphere. I liked the progression of the stars, and being able to plot a line of position on a chart from observing the height of a star. And so I was really fascinated by that. So that's how I got into navigation. But anyway, I wound up as a navigator on a 8th Air Force B-17. We'd flying missions over Germany.
Those are big planes.
Yeah, well, it was big at the time. It's not very big anymore.
Yeah.
But I did have, we put in 30 or 32 missions, so then I came back and went to instructor school.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, another part of the story is I decided to stay in the I decided to stay in the reserve after I was released from active duty. And sure enough, they caught up with me later when General LeMay generated the Strategic Air Command. He decided he wanted to activate a lot of B-29s. So I wound up on a B-29 instructor crew. So it's been a year and a half doing that. But anyway, that's about it.
What an amazing experience, and again, thank you so much for your service and willing to serve our country like that. Tell us about your family a little bit.
Well, my family I have two sons left. I say left because I had two more which did not make it. But they're both in the area and keep in touch pretty well, really. One lives on the north side, the other one on the south side, and spends most of the winter in Florida. But anyway, that's about it. That's all the family I have left. Okay. When you get to my age, you don't have all that many people around anymore, really.
And speaking of your age, again, I remember that first day that I met you, in the wood shop, and saw you making some of these wonderful wooden trains and trucks and cars and planes that you made. We had just a brief conversation, and you shared with me, about your hobby and your passion of creating the toys, and then you told me your age. And I have to be honest with you, I didn't believe you when you told me. I actually had to go to your medical chart and just to verify that when you told me that you were 100 years old, that was your actual age. So what do you contribute, just your livelihood and your passion to?
Well, actually, I don't have any secrets along that line so far as that goes. But I've always been lucky. I've always been lucky. For some reason, I don't know why, but I certainly appreciate it. But it's just the kind of thing you go from day to day. You wake up in the morning, you say, well, here I am again. So what am I going to do with it, right?
It's one of those conversations that we had, I said to you, Bill, it's almost like this is your second life. And you said, yes, that's what I tell people. I have a second life. So can you explain or just share what that means to you and why you say it that way?
Well, actually, it is a second life. As you know, I've lived here for 15 years. And that was a major transition, to say the least. After being active in business and technical things for a good many years, and then sort of drop out in a way and you have to be able to keep busy. You have to have something going. I was kind of concerned for a while. I thought, well, I don't want to wind up being just being an old curmudgeon, sitting over in a corner grousing, that sort of thing. But my wife died 6 years ago. But when we moved here, we had known people who had lived here before, so we would visited and talked with people and visited. But anyway, that's how we made this choice. We didn't do any research so far as that's concerned. But well, I don't know how far you want to get into this, but we moved here from Colorado because both my wife and I had been wound up in the Chicago area after we had both moved around to some extent. And after we were married, Dottie had a daughter who lived in Durango, Colorado. So we decided, well, heck, we can live anywhere we want. So we just went out there to visit for a while. And we both fell in love with Dottie's been out there before, visiting before. But anyway, we wound up talking to a real estate agent. You know what happened? We bought a house, right? So we lived there. We lived there for 7 years, but we needed to move to a lower altitude. Dottie had some breathing problems. We lived at 7,000 feet, so we moved here, which is about 700, which makes it a whole lot more comfortable. So that's how we moved here in the first place. But it's turned out very well. I can't imagine anywhere else I'd want to be, to tell you the truth.
Great. And what really drives your passion for your wood making?
Well, I think number one, I have to have a project. I have to have a project going. And I got into the woodwork because I was looking for something to pick up. Well, I made stained glass for quite a while, like up on the first floor. But that was coming to an end because there were only so many places you could put that many panels. But anyway, I made a trip over to the book sale, the annual book sale in town, and browsing around there, I found a book from England actually, with some sketches of wooden toys that looked pretty good. So I glommed onto that, and that was the genesis for starting this whole thing. So then the thing just kind of mushroomed. But of course, it's the kind of thing I can't quit. I can't quit because the staff keeps coming around and saying, "You making the toys? Still making the toys? Oh yeah."
What do you do with those toys?
Well, I put them out. Well, I put them out every year at the staff Christmas party. When the checks come out, and everybody's happy. There's a big party, so we put them all out on a table. Excuse me, and set a time, like noon, and then put them all out there, and then I disappear, because usually the toys are gone in about 20 minutes. But I always put some back because there are always a few people, who are not able to make it at that time.
Sure.
So I got a few in reserve.
So I think you told me that last year that you made 120 cars that you had put out for the staff for Christmas gifts for their children.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Well, I'm a little less this year because I had kind of a slow start.
You did.
But it's going to be about 110 this year.
110.
Which is I think barely enough to.
I think it's incredible. is what I think. 110. So what are you averaging? Does it take you a week to make one? How many are you making a day, and what is that like?
Well, let's see. 52 weeks in a year, 2 a week. That's 104. So it's a couple of weeks, a little bit more than a couple of weeks.
Yeah, your stained glass is amazing. Bill's stained glass is displayed in our library area upstairs. Mm. There's some panels upstairs in the library. We have some great photos of our library on our website. Mm. So for our listeners who want to see your stained glass, we encourage them to go to our website to check that out and see your photos of that, as well as just a display of all the different things that you've made over the years. So just just an incredible story, Bill. Just thank you so much for sharing your story, with us.
Well, I'm happy to do that, really.
From starting out, walking to school as a young boy, your service and your career, and just how you've really taught yourself just to continue to grow and thrive, is just incredible.
Right.
Any other advice that you would like to give to our listeners?
Don't let yourself get down. Right.
Okay.
Right.
So we're going to move now into the next section of our interview, and this is called the MP3.
Mm-hmm.
So the Montgomery Place 3 questions.
Okay.
Today's MP3 is brought to you by our friends at OMTS. At Montgomery Place, we believe technology should make life simpler, safer, and more connected. Thanks to our partnership with OMTS and their integrated platform, Aisle, our team can focus on what matters most, providing exceptional care and comfort to our residents every day. Technology plays a vital role in every aspect of daily life at Montgomery Place, from safety and communication to comfort and entertainment. Through our partnership with OMTS and their integrated platform, we benefit from seamless solutions for life safety, access control, smart cameras, telephone, and resident TV services. OMTS provides not only innovation and reliability, but also unmatched support and training, giving our team the confidence and peace of mind to focus on delivering exceptional care. Together, we are redefining what modern senior living can be. To learn more about what OMTS and their Aisle platform can do for your community, you can visit them at www.omtsllc.com or reach out directly via email to lou.lindsay@omts.llc. Once again, that is lou.lindsay@omts.llc.
So these are 3 questions that we ask every one of our guests on the art of aging. So are you ready?
Ready.
All right. Question number 1. If you could go back and give your 20-year-old self one piece of advice, what would it be?
20 years old. One piece of advice. Well, I was just thinking back to what I was doing when I was 20 years old. That's a long stretch, but I would really have to think about that, honestly.
Maybe something that you mentioned of don't let yourself get down.
Right. Right. That's a part of it. That doesn't sound quite right, though. It's just that. Well, when I was 20, I was flying missions when I was 20, and what I was thinking then was, and I still feel the same way. I guess it comes down to this: I'm always glad when I get up in the morning, honestly, because okay, here we are again. Here we have this day, and what are we going to do with it? You just take them a day at a time and.
Sure. Okay. Very, very good. Very good. Question number 2. What lesson took you a lifetime to learn?
I would say, after going through all the ups and downs that we all have, it hasn't all been easy. It's been, I've lost 2 spouses and 2 sons along the way. But you get to the point where you learn to get out of yourself and look for things beyond what you've been doing. Look beyond the world that you grew up in effect. I guess what I'm getting at was the thing that keeps coming to mind is that the old shaker hymn. When it says they're talking about simple gifts. 'Tis a gift to be simple. 'Tis a gift to be free. And you'll have to learn that, particularly after you retire. You just say, okay, we're kind of back to basics now, and we have an opportunity to reach out And well, just as an example of that, all in my career in technical business and everything I was reading was related to that. I never read any fiction at all. It was all nonfiction. Then when I retired, I found that there's a whole nother world, particularly surrounded by a lot of very academic people in Montgomery Place. I found there was a whole nother world out there, primarily in literature. And anyway, my good friend here got me started on 19th century English literature, like Anthony Trollope and Charles Dickens. And I'm up to there with that now, but really enjoying it. It's a whole new experience. So just give yourself a chance to expand, improve your outlook. Yeah.
And our last question, what brings you the most joy in your life today?
Well, aside from being able to make the toys and enjoying, I know I just love the thought of all the happy kids playing with them and the staff people that are glad with them. But I think it's realizing that I do have, it is a whole nother life. It is a whole nother life. And I really am enjoying it. Right. Well, for example, I have a partner who we go walking together every day that the weather's decent, right? And she wouldn't go by herself, and I wouldn't go by myself either. She's been here 20 years. So we've known each other for a long time. So with somebody like that to walk with, it really keeps me centered. It really does.
Yes, and your definition of decent must be different than mine, because I've seen you guys out walking on some pretty cold days, and so.
Well, some days we don't stay out all that long. But we always try to get out at least to some extent. At least you get a little fresh air.
Absolutely.
Right, but that sort of keeps me anchored.
Absolutely. Well, Bill, again, thank you so much for joining us today. Just really appreciated, hearing your story and just your dedication. And I really look up to you. You really inspire me. And I'm so glad that I've got to know you and your background. So really appreciate your time today. We do have a couple parting gifts for you, though, for being on our show. So we do have a beautiful Montgomery Place coffee mug for you.
Oh, excellent.
As well as a stylish Art of Aging sweater to keep you warm on those walks outside.
That's wonderful.
And these gifts are made possible by Life Care at Home and our good friends at Remedy Pharmacy. So just a special thank you to Bert Brady at Remedy Pharmacy and for his team for all that they do to help seniors manage medication safely and effectively.
Right.
And thank you again, Bill, for inspiring us
Appreciate it.
And being part of our episode here today on the Art of Aging.
Thank you, Mark.
Today's MP3 gift is brought to you by Remedy Pharmacy and Life Care at Home.
I want to thank Bill Barron for sharing his incredible story, a journey of work, family, creativity, and joy, and for discovering new purposes in his second life. We'd like to give a special thanks to our partners, OMTS, Trinity Rehab, Whiffley, and Unidyne, all proud supporters of Montgomery Place and its mission of wellness and community, and for making today's episode possible. This has been The Art of Aging, produced here at Montgomery Place, where residents thrive at every stage of life. Until next time, keep living fully, keep aging artfully, and keep carrying those stories that matter the most. I'm Mark Millay. Thanks for watching and for listening. We'll see you next time on The Art of Aging.
The Art of Aging podcast is brought to you by Montgomery Place and Life Care at Home, where community, wellness, and legacy come together. At Montgomery Place, you too can find your place to shine. To learn more or watch past episodes, visit montgomeryplace.org or find the Art of Aging podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and across your favorite podcast platforms.